This is a recording of our investigation. For years, we've collected evidence, analyzed accounts, and pursued the answers that mainstream science ignores. Welcome to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. In this episode, we are taking you with us to the Everett Theater, a place rumored to be haunted for generations. What we found there, even we weren't prepared for. Here to discuss the culmination of these investigations, representing Astral Paranormal, Mark Sarro, and Chris Avellino.
Now let's talk some damn horror.
You guys need to have experience? Like, can anybody just like, is there like a
training program?
Yeah, I mean, if we were just a straight up traditional paranormal group, yes, we would probably have a way to bring on new members that, regardless of their experience, we could train them up and kind of teaching them ropes and get going. But since we are kind of also we're a production for a television show that happens to be a paranormal group, it's a little different.
Sure.
But in paranormal groups that I've run in the past, yeah, we would bring folks on and train them up. And it's been a learning curve for our whole team anyway, because not only are we trying to come together for the first time as a paranormal group, we're also a production team trying to produce a show at the same time. And so there's been lots of ups and downs and all arounds as we've been filming and doing our research for the show and all that.
Yeah, you can't just go out and do your thing. Now you got a whole you got the technical work end of it to deal with also. Yeah,
normally, a traditional group, you'd still have equipment, right? I mean, you're gonna have video cameras and audio recorders and still cameras and all kinds of devices. But for us, it's like, okay, we've got all that. Plus we've got, 4 cinema cameras and the whole director's monitor and wireless transmission and all this stuff. And so that we can be as efficient and with our time, because it's, we get into these locations and, we're maybe there 6 to 8 hours, sometimes maybe a little longer. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of time to be in a location. One, to be, ghost hunting, and then to also be recording, for a show at the same time. So we all kind of wear multiple hats.
Yeah. And then Chris also dealing with Black Ave Films. You just kind of got your hands in everything now, don't you?
Yeah, it seems like it. even though my wife doesn't enjoy so much all of it, because it takes a lot of time away from home and family. But it's all part of it. I don't want to say no to things, because especially new stuff, you never know if it's going to be your thing, if it's going to be the thing you want to do, going forward. I've always been interested in ghost hunting and all that stuff, watching the shows, and my mom is sort of a medium too, so growing up with that, scaring the crap out of neighborhood kids with a Ouija board, and I love that stuff. So this was a good experience for me to jump in there, and also utilizing the camera equipment in different ways that we probably would never do on a movie shoot.
Yeah,
it's been fun so far.
The setups, you still kind of approach it with the typical framing, but we're a lot of 90% of the time we're shooting in infrared light. We're shooting in night vision cameras, and in night vision or infrared shadows are much harsher than your traditional. And sometimes we're like, oh, look at that shadow across so and so's face. Yeah, why didn't we have an IR? It's been a learning curve. I mean, if we look back to our first investigation in February to the one we just did a few days ago, we've been, every time we go around, we're like, okay, we got to do this, got to try this, got to try that, and on top of the experiments as well. We've got all kinds of paranormal devices and things that we've been experimenting with, as we go.
So the name Astral Paranormal, right? Is that like astral projection? Is there anybody that kind of had some run-ins with that situation when you're sleeping? Is that where the name kind of derived from?
Yeah. So our main talent and our psychic medium of the show and group is Emily Lido, and she came up with the name. She has a well-established YouTube channel already for her, for her mediumship, known as the Fine Art Medium. And so, she's kind of disciplined in all different areas of the paranormal and spiritual side of things. She's clairaudient, clairvoyant, those types of things. So she's definitely has experience out there in that astral realm. So that's where the name kind of comes from.
So how did this whole thing start, as far as like getting the team together? Like, who initiated this whole thing?
Well, the reality is, right, Chris, Chris and his partner, Ron, our executive producer / first AD, Alex Surface, my partner, Jessica Jett, because we're also a production company, film company that, so we all met on the same set together for Amityville Barbie, which
Mhm.
is a indie horror written and directed by Ronan James. And we all came on set, and that's where I met Chris and Ron and Alex, and that's how we got on each other's radar. And then fast forward, Alex was on set with for another short film written by Hayden Campaign, A Night In, and that's where she met on set Hayden's wife, which is Emily, our psychic medium. So the idea was really kind of born out of those early relationships. Alex really kind of came together with the idea, and they had other folks involved. And I mean, Chris, your first
Mhm.
investigation before I joined the ship production was in January of this year.
Yeah.
Completely different
Outside of
dynamic.
Lum's Pond, we decided to do it. It had just snowed that day. It was, I think, 17 degrees outside. We're like, yeah, we should definitely go investigate this. This is our first time trying anything like this. Let's see what happens. And man, that was an experience. We didn't last very long out there because it was brutally cold. We weren't getting a whole lot of activity. Some of the shots are amazing because the whole ground is covered in snow. So at nighttime, we didn't have infrared anything. The cameras were not properly set up to shoot at night, but some of the shots are still really cool. We did have some experiences out there, so that was good. But man, that was a brutal evening to be out there in 17-degree weather trying to hold cameras and lights and all these other things running around in the woods. We started out. Alex it brought it up to me that she wanted to do a paranormal thing. I was like, great, that sounds good. Let me know if you're actually going to do it. Let me know. I'm ready to jump in. And she's like, okay, great. And a little while later, she said, yeah, we're going to do it. I was like, great, sign me up. So we had a team meeting at a restaurant and talked about everything and just went from there.
I was just curious. Are you guys just based in Delaware? So a lot of the investigations you guys do are in Delaware, or do you kind of come up Jersey?
No, I don't. I don't know. Would you call? I wouldn't really consider our home base in Delaware. I mean that's where we're focusing right now, just because of
Okay.
some of the locations that I'm able to get us access to. I mean, I think the majority of the members are PA and Jersey. I think
Okay.
I'm.
Oh, right.
I mean, I think we're split pretty evenly, actually.
Is
We
it?
got a couple in Pennsylvania, a couple in Delaware, a couple in Jersey. Yeah, we're pretty
Yeah.
split evenly, but all within an hour of each other. So we just happened, thanks to Mark, his connections with the theater, that's what sort of pushed us in that direction. Keep it close to home, something we have full access to when we needed to, and that's sort of how we started with our first actual location. I don't count Lum's Pond because that was a bit of a catastrophe, but.
Did you end
was
up
it-
using some of
it
those
was a learning
shots for
curve.
like your other shorts or something? Some of the cool shots that you took there?
No, we're still holding on to the stuff for Astral Paranormal, but we're sort of mothballing that and going, full production level now. Thanks to the help of Mark and Jess and Brett being on board. We've upped the production level significantly, so it's going to be a whole different look to it every time we go out. So we may do something with that footage at some point. We may go back and do a whole new investigation there. I think that's been in the talks. So we might utilize some of the original footage for it, but for the most part, you probably not going to see too much of what we shot that first go around.
Now, how do you guys go about finding locations to do? Like, is this something like one or another of you have heard stories about a place, or do you have scouts, or do you go by like people throwing out suggestions?
It really can be a little bit of all the above. So one of my many hobbies, whatever you want to call it, I've been a paranormal investigator for almost 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I've got 4 books that are published through. I'm a publisher, and I've contributed to a dozen other books on the paranormal, supernatural, UFO thing. So I have lots of locations, lots of places that I've already investigated and researched and been a part of. And the theater that we are focusing on right now, which is where we're having our big public event in October, is a theater that just happens to be in the town that I live in, that my partner and I volunteer at. We're part of the movie team, the filmmaking team. So we help them with, running the movies, we actually make short films through the theater. They're a nonprofit, community run theater, and it just happens to be haunted. So I had plans, in design starting, going back a year, that I wanted to do some type of fundraiser for the theater that would be focused on the paranormal. With my experience with the paranormal and as a filmmaker, I'm like, my plan was I was going to do a documentary type of thing, and then we would premiere it at the theater and have a fundraising event. It just happened that I was developing that idea in parallel as Astral Paranormal was kind of getting off the ground and running. And as I would go on the sets with Alex or Ron and Chris, working on Swine and Dine or working on other things, we talk and we're talking about. And so I'd be hearing how things were developing with Astral Paranormal. And I finally had this aha moment. I was like, well, I've got a place, why don't we go combine? And that first investigation, it wasn't even really, I was even part of the show. It was like, okay, I'm going to bring Astral Paranormal in as my guests, and I'm going to kind of add some stuff to it, and then we're going to see where it goes. And then it just seemed like, well, we're part of the crew now, and let's go 100 miles an hour, and see where we can go with it. And so we've investigated this theater, believe 5 times.
So this is the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware.
Yeah, the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware. It's a 103-year-old theater, the current theater that's standing now. Yeah, we're just we're gearing up. I mean, now we have to get into post-production mode and start going through all the footage and getting everything ready, because part of the event is we're going to reveal our evidence, the best of the best of things that have happened during those 5 investigations at the theater. And it's kind of awful, really. It's like a soft launch of our show in so many ways, because it's our first public appearance as a group, and kind of seeing kind of what works, what doesn't work.
So when you guys do these investigations, do you like set up cameras everywhere and just kind of just record, right? Just get a lot of tape and then kind of eventually go through it and pull out what you see. Is that how it works? Or
we use Canon E&G style cameras that are fully night vision. So
okay,
we'll be doing, in any given rotation, we'll be running 3 or 4 of those cameras while the team's investigating in a particular place, and then we'll have other cameras strategically placed sometimes. Like Chris has had his pair of Black Magic cinema cameras running in different locations, just as like a kind of holding vigil of a particular location, and in the hopes that maybe we catch something. I bought an 8-camera DVR system for the show that we have yet to use. That we're gonna start kind of figuring that out and how that works out into the equation. Because again, we have to have stuff that's also going to be able to go and be broadcast level, broadcast quality for what we're trying to do for the show. And it's striking that balance. It's a lot of footage. I mean, any given shoot, we're walking away with 500 to 750 gigs worth of footage.
wow,
Yeah.
I mean,
For one location.
we've probably collected per investigation.
that's a lot going through, right? Just kind of just watching it and waiting to see, what's going to happen, and just that's cool.
Storage,
that's cool.
the
That's
storage,
a cool job to just sit there and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, the storage costs alone for this episode, we're probably about $1,500-$1,600 in SSDs just to manage all the footage, and then have the multiple copies, because our workflow is, well, there'll be 3 drives. I'll have all the footage, and we just kind of move the projects from one person to the other, because it's a lot to manage and a lot to get through.
Now, when you do these shoots there, right, and you get your film, over how long of a period of time was this particular?
Well, the first time we investigated the Everett was in February of this year, and our last investigation was literally the Saturday, August 30th. Now they're a little more spread out as far as time wise than we would prefer. I mean, typically, for this type of show, what we're doing, you would spend 5 to 10 days shooting at a location for one episode. It's a lot of work. When I was privy to how some of these other shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, I've had my co-author was on a few episodes, and they'll be at a location for 2 weeks shooting a single episode.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of luxury, so that's why it's kind of spread out over many months.
Right.
But I mean, we've got on top of the investigations, we were there. We did two days of filming for interviews at the theater, and we're going to go back for another half day of B-roll before the event in October, just because we need some of that. So you're talking about 7 to 8 days of filming at the location, and
usually we get there at like 8. We set up to start around 8 p.m. We wrap around 4 or 5 a.m. and then drive home at that point. The one time I think we were there till 6 or 7 in the morning, just trying to copy all the data over from all the cameras. We didn't do any backups during the shoot, and realized that slow transfer speeds were going to set us back quite a bit. So the birds were chirping by the time we left. Even the last time we went, it was 6 a.m. this past Saturday. We got out of there.
Yeah, 12 hours.
We got there at 6 p.m. till 6 a.m.
So it's and you hit that 3 or 4 a.m. marker, and you're like, okay, we have one more rotation to do. Then we've got to do all the data transfer, and then we got to pack everything up and then drive home. I've lucked out by the fact that I'm literally only 10 minutes away from the theater, but I know that's going to change when we start expanding out into other locations.
See, this is what I want to do. I want to quit my job. I want to end my career, and I want to get into investigating. That sounds great. So Mark, you've been doing this for 30 plus years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So ever have that holy shit moment, like, I'm done with this shit. What the fuck was that?
Several times. And we got to be careful because Chris knows if I get going and start talking about some of these stories, you could have me for hours. I mean,
I was going to say, we have as much time as you do. So
Give us one. Give us a little tidbit of one.
So in 2004, my first wife and I, we moved out of Philadelphia and into Westchester, PA. And my aunt and uncle happened to own the house that they rented to us. And we moved in. Within the first few hours, we realized this place was haunted. I mean, full body apparitions, things happening all the time. And, so a few weeks later, I run into my aunt on the street and she's like, "Oh, have you seen the red plaid ghost yet?" We're like, yeah,
yeah. Well, of course we did.
I think my wife has seen him standing outside the shower when she's trying to take a shower. So yeah, I'm like, why didn't you mention that, this place was haunted? And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even think of it." Like, okay, well,
Did you see how much you paid for this?
Yeah, I mean, it's so born out of that, my wife at the time and I, we decided to start our first paranormal research group. Now, because she had a lifetime of experiences, I've been doing freelance investigating and research and writing up until that point. Because I grew up I lived in a house that used to be a funeral parlor, and it was haunted starting as age 5. So it's always been around. And my wife at the time was the same, had this lifelong experiences, and we had some pretty crazy experiences even together before we got married living in Philly. So started the group. The group the house became like the headquarters for the group. Every new investigator came in and trained there, which was probably a mistake a couple of times because the place just got lit up. I mean, there'd be so much activity to the point where we had shadow figures coming out of the ceilings and going through walls. I had something crawl into bed and pretend to be my wife one morning.
Oh shit!
And as soon as I realized,
wasn't that a Michelle Pfeiffer movie?
What was going on? Like, my Roman Catholic
Ghostbusters,
doing the Our Father, and the thing disappeared. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Eastern State Penitentiary. I've been in Pennhurst, Fort Mifflin, Fort Delaware. My second book is on Gettysburg. We spent 10 years researching, investigating Gettysburg for that book, and some of the craziest things have happened there. But
like a specific location or just the area in general?
Gettysburg as a whole is crazy. I mean, you could go there any time of day or night, any time of year, and if you're patient, you will have some type of experience, whether it's you hear something, you see something, you feel something, you smell something. I mean, you just walk around the battlefield park and you're literally going to run into something, no pun intended. I mean, it's one of those types of places. And we would focus on 2 places that are featured in my book, the Jenny Wade House and the orphanage, which was the orphanage during the post-Civil War.
Okay.
And these places are just very, very active. I mean, Jenny Wade was the only civilian who was shot and killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. She was literally in her kitchen making bread when a stray sniper bullet came through the front door, through the kitchen door, entered her back, came out her heart, and she killed over right there in the house.
Jesus.
And the original bullet holes are still in the house. When I was researching for the book, the family who owned the house brought out the original floorboards that still had the bloodstains on them, and it's a crazy place. And then the orphanage, just unfortunately, the original matron of the orphanage was a tormentor of the children, and did some really awful things to the children that were under her care. And so the energy and the activity there just was just kind of through the roof. I've had child spirits come up from behind and grab me, and we catch child voices on audio and video and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just one of those places that just, we would go there and like I said, we'd spend an entire weekend in those places and just, it never would disappoint. But so fast forward, that group lasted, and there's still parts of that group that are get together today, almost 20 years later. And so back in 2011, the group is at the peak of what we're doing. At this point, my first book had just come out. My second book was getting ready to come out. A few other books I've been a part of. We were really kind of doing a lot of work in the area. We had worked on some pretty intense cases, everything from we were at an archaeological dig site, and we helped actually find bodies based upon where spirits told us where they were buried. We got called into this one particular case that was really dark. Lots of awful stuff happened, and it ended up breaking up the group. The night of the night that all this stuff went down, I ended up not talking to my founding members for almost 5 years after that because of what happened. Just it involved suicide, it involved rape, it involved multiple deaths related to freak accidents, and just this dark energy that just was pervasive, not only in this one house, but it seemed like it was infecting all the houses in this little like hamlet of homes. It was one of these just, and we got just ambushed. We weren't prepared for what happened, what was going to happen, and as a result, we ended up. I ended up taking a 5-year break from them and from all of it because I couldn't handle it. Like it was too much. And again, I could give you the details, but it's and maybe another time I can go more into that. But it's yeah.
We're going to do a very special episode just on that story now.
Does that happen a lot with paranormal groups though?
Not
Like,
typically.
was this place like a rarity to have that much going on, or?
It's like the 0.02% of cases. 99.8% of the time, the kind of things that we would encounter and are, it's benign. It's you've got maybe some residual energies, you've got some intelligent spirits, but you're not dealing with the quote unquote demonic.
Yeah, this sounds more demonic, right? That it was never existed.
This was a thing that not only did it attack us, a year later, it attacked me in my home.
That's crazy.
That was not anything to do with the case. I wasn't actively investigating. I was actually living in a pastor's house that belonged to a church, and this thing showed up.
So you were taunting it.
So
No.
That's what's creepy.
You were asking for it.
When you guys do these investigations, don't you worry about like shit can latch on, right? I mean, it can latch on to you, and that's why my wife she's like, you bring anything fucking home.
I was just gonna say, Chris, you're probably getting a lot of shit from your wife, right?
Yeah. My
Tell you about hanging out with those guys.
like I said, my mom is a medium, and the other day she told my daughter, she's like, oh yeah, he brought something back from the theater. And of course, my wife and daughter are like, oh no, what did you do? Why did you do that? You're not supposed to do that. I'm like, I didn't do anything.
But that
And
can
his
happen,
anything
right?
came back.
And his
Yeah,
mother
it can happen.
and his mom cornered me at the Swine and Dine premiere, and she was just like, "What did you?" I'm like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yeah.
Like no, it wasn't intentional.
We
And
didn't force you to do
the
this.
thing is, the stuff at the theater is pretty benign. There's nothing negative there. It's just one of these beacon places where so many people over the years have gotten joy out of this place, and so they seem to come visit it in the afterlife. And we've had all kinds of different spirits that we believe we've come in contact with. And quote, there's several resident spirits that the volunteers and the people related to the theater over the years have believe are there. But we've had experiences with just about all of them at this point. I mean, it's from the little girl that's on the stage to the Mr. Whiskey that hangs out in the wardrobe and costumes to there are all kinds of stuff. And it's just
Pretty much you comb through that whole entire theater. I'm imagining over 8 different visits, 12 hours there basically on site.
Yeah, we've hit pretty much every square foot of that building.
And it's funny, during the first round of volunteer interviews that we shot at the theater, my partner Jessica, she was in the theater by herself. We were wrapped, just striking cables, and she looks up and she's a full on shadow figure, standing like in direct eyesight, and it's the first time she's ever seen anything like that. And her first she thought it was one of us, and then realized none of us were there in the theater. And just when we came back and she told us what she saw, and she we started recreating. She realized it really was just a shadow. I mean, there was no features. You couldn't make out anything. It was just this figure standing there, and then
that's so cool. I would love to see something like that.
Which we've also seen during investigations. On the night of the first investigation, we were wrapping up. I was going upstairs to lock up and close up the projection booth, and there's a shadow figure that went right out through the wall between the 2 projectors. And I was just like, all right, well, glad I didn't have my camera.
Yeah.
So do you guys, like when doing EVP, do you have like set questions that you'll ask, or are you just kind of winging it to where, based on the location that you're at, those, you're going to tailor the questions to that?
We do some prep. I mean, it can be very situational, right? Like we don't want to be so clinical and be like, what is your name?
What is your favorite color?
How old are you?
Why are you here?
Knock once.
Do you know that you're dead? We typically, as a rule of thumb for us, we try not to ask any questions, especially if it is potentially an intelligent spirit, that would indicate that they're dead. They would say, "Hey, did you know how you died?" Because in my experience, sometimes some of these spiritual energies don't realize that they're dead, and that's partly why they're there. They've clung on to something that's keeping them there, and that can be traumatizing in a way that won't have any positive effects. And so we typically try to stay away from those types of questions. But again, depending on the situation, the location, and what we may be encountering, it can vary up. How, but we try to come into it somewhat prepared. Emily, the first time she comes to a location, she arrives blindfolded. We don't discuss a new location openly with her. We won't give her any of the details, where, what. We'll just say, be at this place at this time. We'll meet you. And then we blindfold her and we drive her in and bring her into the location and unmask her for the first time, because that way she's not getting any kind of
she's not Googling.
Or getting any kind of subconscious bias or preconceived notions about the place before stepping into it, because she is very sensitive and she does what we call her. She does like a pre-channel, where she'll go and do channeling and prepping to see what kind of comes to her. And then while we're on location, we can, and she'll document it, we'll record it, and then we get that validation, because then if there's anything that we already know about the theater, we wait to see what she picks up on. And boy, she's really she's dialed in. I mean, especially this last one, she validated a whole bunch of stuff that she didn't know about, that we were holding on to, because we had a volunteer from the theater that joined us that night, who just the night before had an intense experience, and all that got validated during the course of the investigation. So it's pretty wild stuff.
I like that, how she literally goes in blind.
Yeah, we walked her. We walked her in. Somebody was holding her arm, walking her across the street, because we have to park across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Walked her across the street, walked her into the building blindfolded, filmed all that. It was a pretty cool experience to have her doing that. We did the same thing at Lum's Pond as well, where her husband drove her all the way there, and she got blindfolded, so she had no clue where she was going. We don't disclose any information to her about it. Just come to this random location. And so for the Everett Theater, her husband wasn't able to bring her, so we just had her drive somewhere. And we sent someone to go pick her up, and we filmed all that, the whole drive in, the walking across the street. So it's something a little bit different that you don't normally see, and a new experience for all of us.
Is it difficult to gain permission to kind of go into some of these locations? Obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth to allow you guys to actually be there and do what you guys need to do.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, when I've had little doors closed in my face when I was out doing research and looking for stories and places related to my books and the other group. And it starts with, what do you hear? What are people saying about this particular place in this particular town? And then you try to find a way that you can go visit it, talk to someone there, and usually very quickly in that first conversation, you'll get a sense of whether they're open to the idea of someone coming and investigating, or it's like they don't want any part of it. I mean, I'm shocked. I just found out yesterday that Eastern State Penitentiary no longer allows any type of paranormal investigating.
Oh, wow.
Which baffles me, because that place it's one of the most haunted places in our area. And my first wife, that was it's on the cover of her book. I mean, it was the centerpiece of her book. I mean, we investigated that place multiple times, and then to find out, because I was thinking, I'm going to find some place that I can reward the team to for maybe November or December, and I was shocked to find out that it's no longer even available for that. So, it can be challenging, but if a place has history, and then we find out other places, other teams, other people have investigated it, that just hopefully increases our chance of getting in there. There's other places that we're lining up after the theater that are, we have some kind of direct connection to the place, whether I've investigated there years past, or, we have a positive relationship with the owner, and they are comfortable with us coming in and doing what we're going to do. Because, managing expectations with them is look, it's not just we're going to come once and be done. We're going to probably come 6 times over however long period of time. And it's going to be we're going to be taking over the place for the time that we're there, because there's, with the crew and the equipment and everything we got to do from a show standpoint. So right now we're sticking to more public places, the restaurants, the bars, the theaters, those types of places. I don't see us really going into private homes or private residence until I think we've, as a team, matured a little bit more with investigations, because the private cases are the ones that have the greatest variables and unknowns. And in my experience, all the issues and negative things and problems I've had have been usually with private cases. I mean, You don't really run into that kind of stuff at the Eastern State Pens or the Pennhurst or the Gettysburg. Yeah, there can be some really intense things happening there, but typically it's pretty well established the kind of things you're going to experience. But you go into somebody's home for the first time, and if you haven't really done your due diligence to kind of understand what's going on, you could be walking into an ambush. I mean,
walk to a buzzsaw. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Not going to find a lot of poltergeists and demons at Eastern State compared to somebody's house.
Yeah, and sometimes that's not even paranormal. I mean, I've had somebody pull a gun on me.
Oh shit!
And there was nothing paranormal about that. This guy was just unhappy.
Other than your soul left your body for a couple seconds.
The power of Christ compels you.
And a clean pair of underwear.
I didn't see the actual guy. I was standing behind the guy, and when he pulled it out of his waistband. But my other investigator was here, and he was like a cartoon ghost white. There's like the color just like, and I'm watching him like, what happened? And the guy, after the guy left, like, the guy just freaking pulled the gun out and was staring me down and put it, why put it away? I'm like, okay, it's time to go, you know.
Yeah, I'm not feeling anything at this place. Let's move on.
So have you guys ever had someone that actually contacts you to say, hey, something's going on in my house? Can you help us? Can you, like, to where you're not just doing an investigation for the sake of it, you're actually trying to help a family?
Yeah. So when I founded my first group, our mission was education and research. You know, the idea was that we wanted to be able to help inform people as much as we could. We weren't trying to necessarily prove or disprove, like, you know, it wasn't about that quintessential piece of evidence, but we wanted to be able to help people because a lot of my team members and myself included, we made mistakes, and that we hope that we can help people avoid and learn from. And to your point, oftentimes when we go into a private home, they just need someone to listen to them. They just need someone to give them some reassurance and help them take the power back.
To believe them too, right?
Right. Because the reality is we're not going to get rid of the ghost if there's a ghost there. We that's not what we do. And so really we teach them how to coexist and feel empowered and not be afraid of it. Because especially when you're dealing with a family that has children or young children in the house and the children are terrified, like I was terrified when I was 5 years old dealing with a ghost. I get it. Like it's I can imagine as a parent anything more just than having to know that their child can't sleep at night because there's something terrorizing them. And oftentimes we won't even get as far as having to do a full investigation. It's literally we come in, we sit down, we hang out in the house, we talk to the family, try to help them feel better because we don't want to overwhelm them by just bringing in all this equipment. Like that's it's usually we don't start bringing in equipment until we have a good sense of, is it really warranted? Do we need to turn on the cameras and the recorders and all that? Because the family at the end of the day might not actually need that. They just need, again, someone to listen to them, help them feel like they can take control and get the power back in their home and not feel like they're crazy for having to deal with this stuff, you know?
Yeah. I asked that question too, Mark, because I would love to do like an investigation. And if something did follow me back home, I know my wife is going to kick my ass. So I need to know someone to call and say, hey, can you help me out here?
Zelda Rubinstein.
Well, spiritual defense is important. Like, regardless of your faith, your belief system, I mean, as a team, we always do, we do the spiritual huddle at the beginning of every investigation where we just talk about setting your boundaries, setting your intentions. You know, if one of our investigators is visibly not at 100% physically or emotionally or mentally, we may excuse them because one, for them, if they're not in a good place, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, they're vulnerable. It's going to make them vulnerable to
be in a weakened state, right? They can be taken over.
And it makes us vulnerable because we're only as strong as our weakest link, right? So, you know, it's not about ego. It's not about, again, I could care less about the evidence as much as the person, you know, whether it's one of our team members or the people we're trying to help. So some type of spiritual defense or practice is important, you know, and it is the rare extreme that something would attach to you and follow you home. When that may have happened to Chris, we don't know. Like it probably was early on, probably in one of the first investigations that something did attach. You know, I believe his mother believes that something is attached and has been bothering his daughter. And we certainly didn't intend for that to happen. And, you know, if it's continuing, that's something we'll have to do some type of intervention and figure out how to clear the place. Cause obviously, you know, that's not something we can allow to continue, not for Chris's sake, not for his family's sake, because we don't want that to happen. We don't want anyone to have to go through something where something's going to follow you home and attach to you, because true attachments, especially when you're dealing with negative things, it can be it can take a lifetime sometimes to get rid of that stuff, because depending on the nature of what it is and how it's attached to you, it can take quite some time to figure all that out and how to deal with it. Again, I've had firsthand experience with that stuff as well, so it's not fun.
Yeah, and that's risky, right? I mean, every time that you do one of these, you take that risk. I mean, you're going into that, knowing that there's a risk there that this could possibly happen.
Yeah, which I think is overlooked by a lot of investigators early on when they're joining a team or a new team, because it's that eagerness to get out there and do it and get some experience, especially if you've got a team of investigators that don't have a lot of relative paranormal experiences, right? They're looking for that first experience, and they don't realize that, okay, yes, it may be a 0.02% chance of something really bad happening, but that chance still exists, and you should be prepared for that possibility. It's unlikely, but at the same time, the more that you do this, the more you expose yourself to this, the increased chance and risk of these things happening. I mean, we had a team powwow, I guess you could say, back in the beginning of June, where we all got together, friends and family of the team and crew, and we really kind of dove in and talked about that, because we all have to be comfortable with knowing that is a risk. And for those of us who have families and children and wives and things like that, like, we have to understand that it's not just impacting us, it's impacting everyone else around us.
Sure. That's why I don't go in the ocean, because it's I tell everyone, I don't go anywhere where I fall to the bottom of the food chain. That risk is just not worth it, man. I saw Jaws. I don't go in the ocean.
But at least what's latching onto you.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
So have you guys ever looked into or I mean, I haven't heard any specific stories, but I've done work there in the past, and I'm like this skeptic that wants to be wrong. I did work, what was it, about 2 years ago over at the Scottish Rite in Collingswood. I don't know if you guys ever heard anything about that, but I know just being in there, like, I really just want to walk the whole place after hours.
Scottish Rite, is that the Grand Ballroom?
Yeah.
I got married there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very well aware of it. I mean, I was pretty drunk that day, so I didn't feel anything there.
you were seeing things, but that could have been the booze. It's been with you for a long time.
Yeah, right. It's still latched on. Hasn't gone away.
You made promises. She's holding you to it.
I think there's going to be a con there in November, a small one-day convention.
Oh, okay.
So I forget who's running it. They were supposed to have it in June. They pushed it back to November for some reason. I've been to other conventions there too. Never really felt anything there, but I'm also going there to hang out, have a good time. I'm not really paying much attention to it. I don't know. I'll have to look into that one. I don't know if there's any backstory to it or not. I don't know the history of the place. It just fit what my wife was looking for a wedding location. So
it just looks like something's going on there.
Yeah, it's like the church by my house, Dave.
Oh, we're gonna get in.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get
There's
in.
an abandoned church that's literally a stone's throw from my house, and Dave and I stopped by. We were talking to the guy that was watering the plants. It was the wrong guy to talk to. We were like,
we're talking to the groundskeeper of an abandoned.
We're like with a production crew. How do we get in there? We just want to walk around. We just want to set up some
we wanted
cameras.
to do something fun with the podcast, and I was like, JC, this church up the street from you, it's amazing. I need to
get in there, man.
It's got that old wretched look to it. It's got the ivy growing all over it. You got to get.
Even if I just set up a camera, just like like lean over because all the windows are busted out. Just set up a camera and leave it there.
Yeah, my dumb ass is looking at it. They got all these no trespassing signs, like we will prosecute this and that, and I'm like, I wonder if that includes drones? Because again, those windows are long gone. It's just
I'm determined though. I'm determined to get in there. But
either way, it looks like it was beautiful when it was open.
So Chris, the live event on October 10th at 7:30 p.m. at the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware. What is the event going to consist of?
We'll have a bunch of our swag from all the different groups that's involved. Black Ave Films stuff will be there. Trimungus stuff will be there. Plus Astral Paranormal swag. We'll have T-shirts, goodie bags. We're doing a raffle. As far as the stage event, we're going to be playing all our stuff on the projector, so it'll appear like a movie, and then we'll all be there to do like a live Q&A. I do believe, Mark, you probably know more about this than I do. Emily's going to be doing something live, correct?
Yeah, we're going to do like a live channeling on stage. We'll do maybe some equipment demos. We may talk about the God helmet.
Yeah, and
then evidence reveal. We'll be showing segments and clips from the various investigations, and then with the interviews and volunteers of folks that we've talked to along the way. I think all in all, I think we're talking about like a 90-minute presentation with an intermission between halfway through.
So do you guys do like investigations where people can kind of just join in and you charge a fee and people come along and they investigate with you? I mean, is that you see where I'm going with this, right?
We haven't yet, but I've facilitated and done those types of events in the past. Typically, it's like once we build a relationship with a location that can support that, like Fort Mifflin or Eastern State Penitentiary, no longer, but those types of things. Yeah, we would usually do some kind of it'd be like a fundraiser. We say, okay, for $25 a person, we're going to limit it to 20 people. We'll give you an authentic investigation experience. You'll get to go through different rotations. You get to try different pieces of equipment. You get to try things, and then and see where it goes. And those can be pretty good. I mean, for us as a research team, we usually go into it. Hey, this is an event. We can't expect to have real it's not an investigation in the way that we normally do it. But I used to do live broadcasts and those types of events at a place called the Shanley Hotel up in Appomattox, New York, where we would have a multicam live broadcast of the investigation, and we'd have the patrons that were paying to stay there be a part of the investigation, and we would just see what happened. So we're definitely open to that because we know those are great fundraisers for not just for hopefully for us, because we need to raise funding to help us for the production, but for whatever location. I mean that like our October 10th event, we're splitting all the proceeds with the theater. So any half the ticket sales will go to the theater. We're splitting the raffle proceeds with the theater, just because again they're a nonprofit community run organization that needs that kind of support. And so we don't have anything planned at the moment, but we will eventually do something like that. So
we've brought some other people on, just to have them tag along with us.
Yep.
Once we know who they are.
Yep.
Yeah, doing that with a completely random person we've never met before, never talked to.
Sure.
We're gonna try and stay away from that.
Yeah.
Got to do a little bit of vetting.
Stay away from
see what kind of
JC.
mindset they're in.
Hey, come on, man. I'm good, peeps.
Apparently his wife is
You watch your tongue, Danny C.
Said your wife might attack us if we bring you along, so it might not be the best idea.
She's all right.
Joke's on you. I'm divorced. So when are we going?
She's been listening the whole time. She's actually in this mask behind me, so she's been standing here.
Oh, nice.
Well, we've been toying with the idea of doing a live multicam broadcast from the theater itself as a fundraiser. Every year they do what's called Do More 24, which is like a fundraising where there's all these fundraising goals over a 24-hour period, and we talked about, well, during that 24 hours, let's do a live thing at the theater. So we may do something like that. There's a lot of logistics that we have to work out that we're figuring out, but maybe that's something we could partner with. You guys could do a live podcast or some type of thing, be observers, and we'll say, here, go sit in this dark room, and we'll come back in an hour and see what happens.
Sign me up. Let's go.
On.
I feel a prank coming on in this one. yeah, guys, go in there. It's cool.
Yeah.
Take this stick and this bag and go in there and see if you can find the ghost.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm one of those, like, I haven't seen anything to convince me of anything. So I guess that's why I've always been fascinated with this type of thing. Like I said, I'm the skeptic that wants to be wrong. I want proof of it. Now, I may have some personal reasons for wanting to believe, but this is definitely something down the road. If you guys ever want to hook up for something, I'm game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen a ghost, so I know they exist. So what I haven't seen yet is a UFO, and that's what I'm dying to see. That's what I like. Every time I go outside, I just stare up at the sky and just
they were all over your neck of the woods a couple months ago.
I want something like the Phoenix Lights, Dave. I want some shit like that.
My fourth book is a UFO book.
Okay.
And I was never more unnerved than doing the field research that we did for that book. I mean, I've seen every kind of paranormal thing. I've gone through all kinds of stuff, but when you start talking about UFOs, there's another level of anxiety and discomfort that I don't know how to describe, especially when you find yourselves like my co-author and fellow researcher. We were the only two folks out in 1,200 contiguous acres of forest in this park. It was mid-December. We were doing 2 nights as this place was a hotspot for sightings and things, and stuff started happening. And I remember us standing out there in the middle of this camping loop, surrounded on all sides, and these lights are coming down in the trees, and equipment's failing, and like,
oh man,
I'm like, if I turn around and my clothes are inside out, and it's 5 hours later, I'm gonna be really unhappy,
and my ass hurts, and
yeah, it's like everything's like I'm coughing. It's just I was never more uncomfortable than in that situation. And like I said, I've seen lots of. I participated in exorcisms. I've seen some stuff.
Really?
But the UFO stuff, man, that is something else. It's my co-author of that book went on to write 3 more UFO books. I was like, nah, I'm good, dog. I'm going to stick with the one. I don't know if I could do any more of this.
I learned everything I want to know.
Yeah, and we had abduction stories. We've had people just some intense stuff. But you meet all kinds of people as well. I mean, we were investigating this location, and this guy, like, again, was all excited about stuff, and then for some reason he was excited about to show us his concealed firearm that he dropped on the ground a few times, and I'm like, come on, bro. Like, again, I don't know what it is with people and guns and the paranormal, but it was you know, there's nothing UFO about it, but you know, that kind of stuff. You meet everyone. I mean, I've had stalkers that, like, you know, would buy our merch and try to pretend like they were one of our investigators and showing up at places, and then, you know, we find out that they're you know, unfortunately you know, they're schizophrenic living in a halfway home, and, you know, pretending to be one of us. It's like, we, you know,
shit.
Yeah, it is. So having protocols in place for how we vet, you know, members to how we go to locations is really important, because physical safety is of you know, the team and individuals are number one. You know, and again, you know, like I said, getting someone pull a gun on us because they didn't want us to be there was not the situation that I would have walked in. And the sad thing is, we had flagged that particular case as a no-fly zone. Like, there was enough questionable activity that wasn't paranormal that made me say, we're not going to go investigate. And then one of my freelance investigators, who wasn't a part of the team, but she was one of our consultants, decided she was going to go investigate by herself. And the number one rule is you don't investigate by yourself, especially going into somebody's home. You don't know what you're walking into. So I decided to go, and one of my lead investigators didn't want me to go by myself. So the three of us were at this investigation, and it was everything but paranormal. I mean, at one point she started chanting the chant from Child's Play, and we're just like,
oh shit.
She was sitting right next to me, and she starts doing this, like, and I'm like, I slam my hand on the table. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what do you want to happen? She was convinced that a picture was possessed by a demon that was telling her to do things. And it was one of these pictures that you buy at Walmart that is like, has LED lights in it and these really bad sound effects, and it's like a lighthouse on the beach, and you're supposed to, you know, hear the ocean and seagulls. She was convinced that there was a demon in this picture telling her to do things. And so that was the premise under which we went into this house. And so she's starting to play us these recordings that she swears that there's a demon voice. And we're like, no, I don't hear it. And she gets out another recorder. Now she's playing two recorders at the same time. And she's like, you don't hear that. And of course, I'm looking at the picture hanging on the wall that she says is demonic. And it's this awful, like, crappy thing that it was. And I'm like, okay, why are we here? Because of this person who brought us here. The house was like, it was something out of a David Lynch movie. I mean, she lived there with two of her brothers. Apparently, the brother who pulled the gun on us tried to kill himself the night before. He's an alcoholic as well. Her other brother was handicapped and blind, wheelchair bound, and they literally kept him padlocked in a room.
Wow.
Oh, that's my brother's room. There's this giant padlock on the. I'm like, what? So we ended up calling social services after that investigation, because there was clearly some addiction issues and some mental health issues. All kinds of stuff. I mean, this woman, like, literally started chanting Child's Play stuff at us.
Holy shit.
And so
you probably couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, this was the year that the Phillies, you know, won the World Series in 2008. And my work at the time had playoff tickets, and we could have been at the third base, first row for like a World Series game. And instead we're in this busted ass house in Lower Delaware with this schizophrenic drug addict who thought there was demons coming out of her picture. And
hanging out in the Klopek house.
We ended up destroying the picture and taking it with us to release the spirit. And I kept the picture remains in my house, and I contemplated wrapping it as a Christmas gift to give back to one of my investigators as a true reminder of why we have protocols and why we try to, you know, to vet things and make sure that we're safe, because that was, it was, you know, we could laugh about it, but at the time we weren't laughing. I remember.
Yeah, that's scary.
Once we got out, I read the riot act to my other investigator, and we never worked with her again after that, because I was like, you didn't listen to us, and you brought us into this place because you still didn't listen to us. And
yeah, put you all in danger.
Yeah.
I like to think I have pretty high tolerance with things, but I think if I were there and somebody started doing that chant, I would have just immediately snapped. You're not Brad Dorff. Shut the fuck up.
It was. I could not believe it was like, okay, really?
Klaatu, Barata. No, none of that either. Necktie.
So exorcisms, huh?
Yeah, I was training, for lack of a better word, to be a demonologist when I was in my early mid-20s, and I don't know why I thought that was a good thing, and so I ended up getting involved as a freelancer investigator, just in some really twisted, some dark cases, and there's the psychology aspects of an exorcism. You know, there's real. I mean, but I've also, I've had churches close the door in my face when I would reach out, to get support for one of their parishioners, like, somebody that's a member of their church who is desperate for help, some spiritual guidance, and like, well, why not someone from their church? And they would absolutely refuse. And it's like, well, wait a minute, like, well, aren't you here for spiritual guidance and help your flock and help your congregation, when they need them? And you're telling me you're not interested, you're not going to come help, you don't even want to talk to this person, like that kind of stuff. Just
I wonder why that is. That's odd, right? It's whether it's like taboo or
it's probably just comes down to liability, right? They don't want to be liable for anything that may happen, especially depending on what type of church or sect that you're talking about, Roman Catholic or Episcopalian or Lutheran or whatever. But it was that was surprising because this young woman needed help. She was having poltergeist like activity happening in the house. Things were getting tossed around, doors and windows slamming and breaking, and all kinds of negative stuff. But the reality is, what we ended up discovering was that she, in fact, was the agent. She was causing all this activity because she was living in this house with 5 roommates, and she was the odd person out, and they just were just not kind to her, mistreated her, and just
so basically gaslit her.
Yeah.
And she just this psychic energy would build up, and things would start to happen around her, and she interpreted it as being haunted, and really, no, she was the agent. Because as soon as her situation changed and we were able to help intervene, it all like almost stopped on a dime. Like there was just when she got into a better place emotionally and mentally, changed her living situation, different roommates, and it all just stopped.
So someone could bring that on, that like someone, when you say an agent, that's like, so they can cause it like a carry type situation, right?
To a certain extent. I mean, it's again, it's not an everyday occurrence, but I mean, it's if someone is so distressed emotionally, psychologically, and they're sensitive and they don't realize it, they can manifest things that happened and things around it. I mean, there's a woman that was the center of a case that we investigated for several years. That was one of the catalysts that contributed to the group splitting ways. She had some uncanny things, abilities, and just things that would happen around her that I started suspecting that there was some kind of outside influence that was enhancing her sensitivities or abilities, because there was just things that would happen that just I had never experienced before with this woman being. I mean, there was 50 some deaths on her property. Wow. Their pets would get like killed. Like they had a cat that got shot straight up in the ceiling and crushed its skull. Her husband ended up getting pushed down the stairs and tore his rotator cuff and ended up in a hospital because something pushed him. She got struck by lightning, just randomly. And just this kind of stuff was just happening.
That's friggin' nuts.
Yeah,
random like car accidents would happen on her property. Like a car would just flip over in her yard, and like there'd be just all kinds of stuff. And so and this woman, like we actively investigated her in her house for a couple of years, and she started negatively influencing one of our members to the point where that line of client and personal relationship kind of became blurry, because all of a sudden he would start showing up to other investigations and cases with this woman. It's like, wait, why is this woman who is one of our clients, not a friend, who I suspect of other things, why are you bringing her to, this other investigation? And we got kicked off of that archaeological dig by the head of the professor of the university that was running the dig, because he randomly brought her to the site. She said something crazy that struck such a nerve that the professor exploded and kicked us off, and we weren't ever allowed to go back. And this is even after we helped them discover bodies that were in the mass grave that they were trying to find with ground penetrating radar and all this other type of things. And we did the spirit box session. The spirit said, "I'm right here." They put the flag where the spirit said it was, and they found skulls and remains, and it's like, but they weren't having it. Like after that, so it's.
You think she manipulated it? Like, did she like control him in a certain way to kind of just like what did?
Yeah, it's I don't know, because after end of 2011, after that other case that I teased out earlier happened, and we ended up parting ways for a number of years, I was still doing lectures and con circuits and things for my books, because I had 2 more books that were coming out after that. And she randomly showed up at one of my lectures, and my co-author on my couple books, he was there and wasn't involved in that case, and like immediately knew something wasn't right, like with this woman, and was just like, who is this person? Why is she here? And the thing is, the irony was my topic was the dangers of the paranormal, where I was talking about her case in front of her at this lecture, which she slowly just kind of got up and walked out of the room. I'm like, bye.
Oh, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Yeah, I'm looking, like, staring her down because she's staring me down. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, like this,
Right.
you came to me. I didn't invite you here, so just weird coincidences like that. And I have, it's funny, she gave me a couple gifts. I've got a 1933 Browning camera that she gave me that she just randomly found on her property, and she gave me this classic glass bottle, which I've showed Chris a couple times. It's on one of my bookshelves. That she just decided to give us these gifts. I mean, it's just some weird stuff. I mean, just
aren't you worried that something's connected to those
items?
those items?
No,
right?
yeah. I mean, when she first gave them to me under the circumstances, I was like, I'll just leave this sit outside for a few weeks and make sure that it's okay before I bring it to my house. And but I've had them here in this house now for as long as I've been here, 11 years, and this house is quiet. There's nothing going on. There's nothing attached to it, thankfully. So
thank God she didn't give you a Raggedy Ann doll.
No, it comes in its own travel case, so it's all good. So you mentioned, I believe with this lady, you were talking about like the psychology angle of it. And then you were also saying how, when like families or just individuals like calling you up to kind of go over everything. And you said in some cases, they just, they're just looking for that comfort with, both of those aspects going on. Like, is there training or any required education as far as like from a counseling end or a psychological end, or is this just something you kind of pick up as you go, like the amount you need?
You kind of pick it up, but you have to walk a fine line because, again, you could be, if something really bad happened, like physically, not spiritually, to the person or the family involved, they could come after you. But we would actually have contracts that we would sign with the client that spelled out very clearly the terms and conditions of responsibilities and things and we had a clause that basically said too that if we find that you're committing fraud, like you're trying to trick us, we're going to send you a bill for all of our hours, all of our resources, and we're going to take you to court and we're going to sue you for that because you wasted our time. Mm-hmm. And that has helped us weed out things like that as well. I've had members that were team members in my group that were clinical counselors, licensed counselors and psychologists. Mm-hmm. Things like that. And there's your ideal kind of members to deal with, when you're dealing with counseling. But, we would also have a resources that we'd say, okay, well, here's this counseling service, or here's this, we would refer folks out because, again, we're not, the reality in the paranormal field, there are no experts. Yeah. Anyone claiming to be an expert is selling you a false bill of goods because this is not, there's no academy of sciences that we can go to and I mean, there used to be parapsychology. That used to be a real thing back in the day that you could technically get a degree in, but there's no university in the United States now that even offers anything like that. And that's the closest thing you could come to any kind of accreditation. So it really is like the Wild West as far as the theories and the devices and the techniques and the way that folks, I mean, I've been called in to clean up the messes that other groups have made because of the way that they've investigated or the protocols or the techniques they use, because some of these shows glorify the idea of taunting and thinking that, oh yeah, I can go in there and I can call it all kinds of names and kick stickings around, and then it's not what's going to do. And then you leave and you just made it 10 times worse for the people that have to stay behind. I mean, the worst thing that we could do on investigation is come in there and take your holy water and your crucifix if you're Christian or Catholic, because you're basically declaring war. Yeah. And if you're not prepared to fight that battle until the very end, that you're doing such a disservice to the people that have to live in that house or be in that location, because most times a group on a private case may only go to that place a couple times and you're there 4, 6 hours, 10, 12 hours total. The people have to live there. They have to deal with whatever you did. And so again, time and time again, we would get called in to clean up the mess that some other group made because, a group would come in, they'd watch this TV show because that's how you do it. You go in there and you be a badass. And it's like, no, you made it worse for the people that have to deal with it and live with it. And that's not what they wanted. And again, it can blow up in their face. And I've had investigators who think that's a reasonable way to act. And we've kicked them out of the group. It's like, no, this isn't the place for you. We can't have that. That's, you're putting us at danger because you think that that's an okay behavior that you're going to provoke and antagonize something that you don't know anything about. It's like, would you go into a prison and the general pop and, start picking on, No, I don't think so. You know,
You think you're
See,
tough in that orange jumpsuit?
so Dave, no fucking cosplaying as Father Merrin. All right.
I'm not the one with that costume. Yeah, see, I'm a troll. I like to start a pot. I like to start shit. I like to get a rise. But that's with living humans.
sure.
Yeah.
Again, what I do or don't believe, I'm not going to instigate just in case.
You know,
Not taking
and
that chance.
and to be honest with you, I'm a skeptical believer, and let me explain that. So that when we go into a location, especially with somebody's home, I don't automatically default to everything that's happening as paranormal,
Mhm.
because 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Could be explained. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we would typically do a home inspection. We're looking for mold. We're looking for poor EMF shielding or wiring. We're looking for, you know, anything that could be a natural cause and explanation. Because when people get exposed to black mold, they can hallucinate. They can have all kinds of weird feelings. People who are hypersensitive to strong electromagnetic fields can feel like they're being oppressed or being watched. And if there's carbon monoxide or radon, like it's those things. And yeah, and you live in, and people, they become desensitized to their environment, so they're not paying attention to that mold spot that's been growing for the last 10 years.
Mhm.
It's because they don't see that it's taken over an entire wall in their basement or an entire wall in their attic or something like that. And once they remediate those issues, all
Hey,
the
we're
stuff
not haunted anymore.
right, because they're no longer being physically impacted by the environment. Right.
I guess I don't think about that a lot
Yeah.
when they come into those situations
Yeah.
as being a problem.
You know, it could be something as far as like a, oh, I've been hearing noises in the walls. Well, you probably have an insect infestation or
You got
something.
bats in the attic or a raccoon living in your crawl space.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
and private, especially for private cases, we treat those like a home inspection. We'll go in there, and sometimes I may even bring like a mold test and gathering samples and things like that. Because one, especially with families with children, your home is supposed to be your castle. It's supposed to be the safest place in the world for you, and that it breaks my heart when when a family is dealing with something they don't know how to handle, and when they reach out for more traditional help, like maybe they go to the police or they go to and they're not getting answers or getting support. That's my goal, is to help them understand whether it's paranormal or not, what's going on and how they can take the power back.
Yeah.
And, it's again, if I walk in the place and there's a wall full of black mold, well, I don't need to go any further than that. Like, look, you got to remediate that, deal with that, and I wouldn't be surprised if everything that you're experiencing just kind of comes to a halt. But long-term mold exposure can be deadly. I mean, it can be cause permanent brain damage, and some homes have to be condemned and completely torn down because of how infested they are. Now, fortunately, I've never come across anything that severe, but I had a case that involved the caretaker of a graveyard. It was a home that was in the graveyard for the caretaker, and not only did they have black mold in the basement, they had where the main electric came into the house was unshielded and just blowing up EMF like right at the headboard of their master bedroom, like their bed,
Wow.
like just poisoning with EMF on top of the mold. I'm like, well, you've got multiple things here, and lo and behold, they did remediate, was able to get rid of the mold and get things, and everything stopped. And it's like, all right, that to me, that's a win.
Sure.
No, did I get the picture of the ghost or the EVP or the video? No, but again, that was never my motivating reason to really go out and deal with those types of cases, because again, it's about education and helping folks understand.
Yeah, you want to help people. And there has to be nothing worse than, being terrorized by something you can't see, right? You're powerless. And then you got to get people to believe you, right? I mean, that's to be in that situation is like, that's got to be rough. That's got to be a tough, and then you bring, children into the mix, right? So what you guys do, man, appreciate that. That's,
I'm a skeptic as well. And when me and my wife moved into our house, the previous owner, he had passed away. So my wife swears that he's there and taunting her, not bothering her in any way, but he's there watching, maybe banging on closet doors, usually when I'm not there though. So it was hard for me to believe any of that. Nothing ever showed to me. I never saw anything, but she wound up calling people to come in, different psychics, and I think a priest came in and did some stuff, and she had a bunch of stuff done in the house to try and get him to go away. I don't think he's actually gone, but there's my mom also said that due to the location that we're at, a lot of Native Americans would come through that area because we're right on the back of a creek in Mantua. So there's a lot of foot traffic for spirits is what my mom had told me. So you'll get a lot of just people walking through. So protect your house a little bit better. And that's what we wound up doing, and haven't had much going on in the house since then. which is good for them. So I don't have to not believe my wife anymore. She says she hears something because she hates me for it. But I'm like, look, I didn't see it. You expect me to believe, but it didn't happen to me. So it's very hard for me to believe it.
Sure.
You have a favorite paranormal movie?
Oh yeah.
Quite a few.
When the first Paranormal Activity came out, all the way up until the ending, it was a pretty good representation of like what things that you happen and how you would experience like during investigation, typical hauntings and things like that. But yeah, probably one of my favorites is probably the original Amityville Horror, with Margot Kidder and from the late 70s.
Thanos' dad.
We were just at the house a few weeks back.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait,
Are you able to tour that house, or are you just outside of it?
No, we were just outside of it. We went up to meet Diane Franklin, Better Off Dead. So at the Cinema Art Theater in Huntington, New York. So we were up that way. We're like, fuck, we got to go see the Amityville.
We're like a half
house,
hour
right?
away, as opposed to the 3-hour drive to get there.
So,
it's like you got to drive by the house.
They changed the look of it, right?
yeah. All the
inside.
the eye windows are gone. It just looks like any other house. And I mean, if I owned that house, I get it.
Yeah.
You own that house. You don't want. I think a family lives there.
Dig in. You can make money off of that.
Oh,
God.
dude, yeah, that's what. If I owned that house, I would turn it into I would do
Museum.
tours. I would do all that.
Yep.
I bring those eye windows back, man. I mean, you might as well, right? You make some money.
Yeah,
off
when
it.
people come in the basement and break the bricks out of the wall every once in a while. They're like,
Do a little seance,
$1,000, you can knock some walls down if you want. I don't care. I'll build them back up.
I'd have one wall set up to have like oil, like dark oil just coming out. I'd do it up. Man.
Yeah,
It'd be
a
great.
bathroom with flies.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yep, that'd be great. One of my favorites, and this is probably because I'm a found footage movie guy. I love them. Is probably Hell House LLC. It's one of my favorite. Yeah, I know. I watched that. It's probably one of my most frequently watched horror movies overall. It's so well done overall. But prior to that coming out was probably Poltergeist. Poltergeist, you can't go wrong with that. It's just so creepy in every way. Every character's got like a sense of questionable behaviors, and just the way they displayed them on camera was just so creepy. Mm-hmm. Everybody, from Zelda to the guy that shows up at the house, everybody was like, is this a bad guy? Like, they all look bad. They all look scary as shit to a kid. So
yeah,
it definitely did its numbers on me.
That movie did it for me, and I was born in '82, and growing up, and that's the one movie that'll always get to me as a kid. That really it wasn't Return of the Living Dead. It was Poltergeist that fucked with me. So
because it was closer to reality than Return of the Living Dead or anything else like that. Like
you got that Spielberg touch
in the woods, but
exactly.
You have the unknown,
and it's weird because I was 8 when that came out, and the clown thing freaked me out in the moment. The whole scene, actually, one of my favorite shots in the movie is when you got the spirits coming down the stairs. Yeah. When they go back to check the footage and all. Like, I was more fascinated by that than scared. The thing that haunted me probably for about 2 months straight is I couldn't eat chicken or steak. and the bathroom scene, if I ever went into somebody's bathroom where they had the heat lamp in there, that was a deal breaker for me. That was the part that fucked me up.
Was it the first one with the tequila worm?
That was the second one.
That was
that was the second.
That was the second one?
That was second
That petrified me to the point. I was a child, but I was like, I'm never drinking that. Never.
That stuck with me. That definitely stuck with me.
That stuck with me for a long time after seeing that one. I was petrified of drinking tequila. Of course, when I turned 21 or something around that age, it didn't matter at that point.
Actually, that fucking reverend too, man. If a reverend like that showed up at my house, man, I'd be like, what?
You'd be freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, for me, it was The Exorcist. For me, like that's the granddaddy of all horror for me. And when I was born in '73, so I was born the year that movie came out. And that's just, I grew up in a Catholic house, right? So going to church every Sunday. So for me, that was real. That could happen. Right. And the thought of, if you believe it enough that it could happen, it just may happen to you, was like freaked me out, because I would think about it and lay there like, possession. Well, like what would it be like to, and I would freak myself out, because the more I think about it, like, holy shit, am I going to get possessed just by thinking about it? Yeah. The Exorcist was. You
wouldn't sleep with a crucifix anymore in fear you might get a little out of hand with it?
No, I never had I never had those desires, Dave.
Mom, my honey hurts. Oh, where's the
Chris,
cross?
found footage. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you saw Wreck, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
one of the best found footage. I mean, that movie was just not the quarantine remake. You got to watch the OG.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that was
the
a
original
great
one.
movie.
Very well done. Yeah, I'm a huge found footage nerd. I watch all of them. It doesn't matter what they are, how bad they are. I'm still watching them. Just the way that they're shot and developed, it's usually pretty well done. Hell House, The House is October Built. Is another
Great
one of my
movie.
favorites.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Horror in the High Desert.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. Horror in the
I
High
haven't
Desert.
seen that one. No.
That one
I'll
is
have to look
pretty
for
good.
that.
And Butterfly Kisses.
Okay.
Those
I've
two
heard
right
about
there.
that one.
Yeah, Butterfly Kisses was good. That was underrated. That was a good found footage.
What about Blackwell
Yeah.
Ghost?
1
Oh,
through 12.
God.
That was good.
Yeah. I really
That-
enjoyed
dude,
it.
I watched the first one of them probably last year, and I had to binge all of them. Like, I was hooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way he told that story in that
Oh,
movie,
fucking awesome.
I couldn't tell if it was real, like a documentary. He did
Right.
such a good job with that.
Yeah.
I was hooked, hook, line, and sinker on that one, no doubt. I had to watch every one of them. Just the way it all, all the action just kept rolling along, and it just enough to get you
hmm
hooked onto it, and you really get invested. And then maybe nothing happens, and then the next movie comes out, and it's a while later. Oh, they're selling the house. I'm gonna buy the house, and it's just like, and then going to a Florida house. It was just so many different things happening, and the way that I'm finding clues to solve the serial killer story, and the way they all developed, it was intense. It was a very intense series to watch. Very well done. Very underrated. I had a
There's
hard
what,
time
8,
finding
9 of them?
I think there's 8.
Yeah.
I think
Last
I
time I
saw the
checked, there was
first
8.
3, and then
Yeah.
Shiny Object happened, and I
JC turned me
Yeah.
on to that. He's like, you got to watch it. And then I got addicted to it. And I had to
Oh, I
show
loved
my
it,
family.
man.
And I was like, they were like, oh man, we got to keep on going with this.
Loved
So,
it.
And they're like
Absolutely.
perfect, like bite-sized movies.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah, I
have to
think
sit
they're like
there
an
for
hour
90.
apiece.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what's another underrated movie that doesn't get a lot of love that I personally like? As Above, So Below.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was good.
Right? That's a good one.
one.
It doesn't really get a lot of love.
Yeah, I like the VHS movies as well.
Yeah.
A lot of some of the shorts that they have in there are a little corny, but for the most part, overall, they're all very well done and very unique storytelling. The way
Yeah.
that they do the shots for that stuff.
I think
That-
Shudder's
I don't
dropping
know.
another one. Halloween, VHS
Jeez.
Halloween.
There was the one that they shot where they were all on a plane going to do skydiving, and I was amazed. I had to watch that over and over again. I don't know if you guys had seen that one.
Is that
But
from one of the
it's
later
all from-
ones?
I think one of the most recent ones.
Okay.
Give it a shot. Watch this. Just that one piece is just so beautifully shot. First person view, skydiving, and all the stuff that happens along the way. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't even know how they shot it. And some of the effects that they did are I'm still mind boggled, watching it. Couldn't figure out if it's all CGI or how much was special effects and all that. It was very well done.
Yeah, I think I'm a big possession fan, like exorcisms and all that, and Exorcism of Emily Rose. When you listen to those tapes, the real tapes of Annalise Mike, I mean, you want to talk about like nightmare fucking fuel, dude. It is like, just listen to those tapes and it's like you're not sleeping for nights. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. I love that case. I'm so intrigued by it.
The Last
That's a good
Exorcist was another good one too.
Yeah.
But the one that messed me up the most was the same year that Paranormal Activity came out, The Fourth Kind.
Another one that doesn't get a lot of love.
I left that movie and I was like I was convinced it was 100% real because of the way they staged the archival real footage with the reenactment. I was just like, holy crap! Like I'm like immediately looking stuff up, trying to find.
Yeah, is this a documentary? Like, what is this? It was very well shot.
That inspired me as a filmmaker because my first 2 features are found footage mockumentaries, and that was one of the ones that obviously was very inspiring, and of course Blair Witch and some of those others. So yeah, that movie messed me up. I was blown away.
Never look at fucking owls again the same way, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie. Fourth Kind is really good.
Yeah, and then my go-to's always been Lake Mungo. I have a weird obsession with that movie.
I love Lake Mungo. A lot of people shit on that movie. I don't know why.
Yeah, a lot of people on this show shit on that movie.
Yeah, it's like Skinamarink. What do you guys think of Skinamarink? Did you see Skinamarink? Okay.
I tried watching it. I think I fell asleep. in the the beginning was it's such a slow.
Don't waste
movie.
your time. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Again, I'm not a huge believer in like manifesting, although I should start. But it was actually JC that presented us with the trailer. This was like months before the movie came out, and it was one of our first episodes. And we took a little break, and then I left the room. I come back. They're in the middle of watching this trailer. And I was like, dude, you got to watch this. You got to watch it. Sat down. We all huddled around the phone, watched the trailer, and we were all freaked out by it. And I said, if this is 90 minutes, if the movie is 90 minutes of this trailer, I said, it's going to be one of the greatest movies ever. Well, it turns out it was 100 minutes of that trailer. And nothing happens in the trailer.
I almost got divorced over that movie.
Oh yeah,
Dan went to the theater to see that shit.
Took my family with me.
Geez.
Yeah,
wow.
My wife
just
and
wait
kids
for it to
almost
drop
left
on
them.
Shudder, dude.
The whole family almost disowned me. I paid like $120 for like 6 tickets. Yeah, I almost got castrated in a movie theater. Yeah, that was rough.
I appreciated what he was going for. It was experimental horror. It was different, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, right? It was just a different, like, you don't see, movies shot that way, and I respected it. I appreciated it.
So yeah, like we mentioned before, I want to say a few weeks back, but my mental timing's like way off. So you had the Swine and Dine premiere up at Smod Castle, which again we were gracious.
Yeah, that was a great event. That was a great event
to be there. But what's the update on that? Because last I heard, you guys were still running it in festivals and whatnot.
Yeah, it's still in a lot of festivals. A lot of them. I mean, we got festivals that are slated for like January, February 2026 before we'll find anything out. So, but in the meantime, we're working on getting it to Film Hub to try and get out to Shudder or Tubi or Amazon Prime, wherever we can get it out to. We're right now trying to get some feedback from social media to see if anybody wants to see it up on YouTube for free for 24 hours. Yeah, we're just gonna throw it up there for a little bit, just so people can watch it. I
was looking for it today.
It's not there. It's not there. Not yet.
Should have gotten a Blu-ray with us.
We paid for the Blu-ray, JC. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to a good cause.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on with that, because I thought that this, so what we went to see, it being a short and all, we figured this was the whole thing. And it wasn't until the event that I learned that this is more of something that you're looking to use this to raise funds to make a feature out of it. So yeah, that's why I was asking. I didn't know if this was something that was going to be like mass released, or if you're just shopping it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try it. We'll see what happens with it. Our initial goal was not to do a full feature. It wasn't until like after we were done with it and we went to a convention and we were doing a Q&A with Mark and some other people, and somebody said, is this going to be a full feature? And Mark was like, I hope so. And we're like, oh, well, if he's on board, then I guess we should probably do a full feature. So, Mark Haynes is going to play the Pigman again. We're going to write something for him and make it happen. So as of right now, we're looking to maybe summer 2026, maybe a little bit later, depending on what other things we have on our schedule. That's when we're looking to start shooting. We've got a fully written script that, needs some tweaks here and there, but it's pretty good. It's got a lot going on. It's not going to be a continuation. It's going to be a whole rewrite of everything. Mm-hmm. Different developments with the characters and
little backstory,
more characters, backstory, so you know where he's coming from.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All the different parts of it, so it makes a little bit more sense. Mind you, at this point, when we made Swine and Dine, we were 6 months into making anything. We'd only shot one thing prior to that, and a couple little skits here and there. So we're very new at this still, and we're learning every time we pick up cameras, every time we get to go on someone else's set. Every time we get to hang out with Mark, we're always learning something different, something new, different ways to do things. And one of the good things is getting critiqued by other people, reviews, critics, that type of stuff. It helps us to develop better storytelling and things that we didn't think we could do. We're like, all right, well, let's try it and see if that works. And we're moving along that way. And right now we're a few days away from dropping an Indiegogo for the next thing we're going to do, which is going to be a horror anthology called Within the Crack. Yeah, so that's the next thing we're going to run. We've got all 3 stories written. The first one we've got almost fully cast out with, we've got Sammy Morningstar going to be the lead in that, Amber Brooke Hoffmeister, she's going to be in it, and Clifton Taylor will be in it, and the Platten twins. will be playing children in the movie. So we've got that fully casted out. We've got a location set. We've got our dates set for that. So we'll be rolling that one out first, and then film the rest of them as we can get the talent and locations and time locked in. I was messaging with Jessica Flux earlier today. I sent her the script for one of them, so she's interested in doing that. So I think in January, February, March, we'll be rolling her into Jersey to film something with her. And we've been working on it for a while and going over the story nonstop with ourselves to try and iron out all the kinks that we might have that might come up. And I think we've got some solid stuff going there. It'll be a pretty cool story. It's not going to be as horror-esque. It's going to be more of like a reality, what is reality type thing where the viewer will be questioning what the reality of the lead character is the whole time. You'll never really know what's real for them.
Like
so
maybe a borderline Twin Peaks, Twilight Zone kind of thing.
More Twilight Zone-esque. Yeah, definitely going for that vibe. We're definitely gonna anchor pretty deeply onto the Twilight Zone aspect of things. All three stories are going to be we'll have a wraparound type thing going on. All three stories are going to have female leads. It's all going to be female based, predominantly. The second one that we do is going to have Samantha Josie, Samantha Shumo as our lead, and then we're going to try and get some bigger names in there to work along with her for some other characters that we've got written into it. But none of the stories have like a huge character base, so it's not going to be it'll be easy to shoot for us, hopefully. The hardest part is that one's going to be like a mental institution, so we've got to fabricate a mental institution, padded room type thing. So that's probably going to be our biggest headache that we've got to deal with throughout all this. But yeah, we're working on stuff, and Mark's always trying to get us to do stuff with him, and we're dying to get something rolling once the Astral Paranormal stuff is settled a little bit more and we're right in the right place. We'll definitely be doing something with him soon, I hope. And Vampires in New Jersey, that's something we've got going on at some point soon. I think Alton Simpson just sent an email out today saying his cast is lined up, so now we're just working on dates for that, and Mark and Jess are going to be there to help us with that as well.
That's awesome. Got a lot of irons in the fire. That's great. That's great.
We've had on Jessa on the show. We've had on Mark. We had on Lauren Alina.
Yeah.
So we've had on a lot of the guests that are involved with Black Ave. So
and that's one of the things.
We try to keep it local.
Listen, that was one of the things I was curious about with like how you mentioning like how it sounds like Mark is like a huge fan of you guys now, and we didn't even hear about this until he came in. He was like, I'm doing a thing where I play a pig, and we were like are you voicing a pig character or are you like half man? He's like, I have a snout and 6 nipples. Yeah. And ever since then, I think
you should give him 10 nipples in the
I've almost been as obsessed about the nipples as he was. He seemed really excited about that. So I was going to ask, was it just that pleasant of an experience working with you guys, or does he just want the nipples back?
No, it was a pleasant experience. I mean, besides the weather issue there, he's a true master at what he does. You know, he does not get enough credit. He does not get put in enough roles where he really gets to put out his acting and what he can actually do and bring to the table. I wish him the best. I hope he gets bigger and better roles because he deserves it fully.
He's a great human being.
I can't wait.
He's just a great person in general. I mean, I watched some of his YouTube videos doing stuff with Mark Haynes, and just like, you know, a lot of things that he's involved in, charities and whatnot. He's just a great all around guy. So, hey, I always shoot my shot. If you ever need extras.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say, I think that goes for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
We're cheap.
Yeah, I'll shovel shit in a scene.
Hey, we're in South Jersey. You're in North Jersey. So
I will drive anywhere, man. Come on now. I drive to your studio to do podcasting. You don't think I'll drive to be an extra somewhere? Come on.
Hey, we're always trying to shoot dumb shit, so we're always looking for extras to do that stuff. Like,
and we're masters of dumb shit.
Yeah. We just had a, Monster Mania was just recent, right? And Ron rented the room for the wrong weekend. So we had 2 weekends of rooms there. So he's like, well, I'm going to film. I was like, what are we filming? Like, I don't know. I'll write something throughout the week. And so we came up with some ideas, put out a Facebook post. Anybody in the area want to be in something? We're not sure what it is, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
Ron knows what it is. We don't.
Yeah. He doesn't even know until like the day of. He's like, all right, we're going to do this. And I'll go, that won't work. And then we'll go, okay, we'll change it all and we'll do something different. But we shot on Thursday night and Friday night there with some friends from the area who were willing to come out and get bloodied up. And we shot one inside the hotel and one at a local park, which was unique because I guess it's a meetup spot for people to take care of each other in the woods. Because me and Ron were out there scouting the area, and some dude walked by and he's like, "Hey, any of you guys SNED out here?" And we're like, "Nah, that's not us." And it was so we took
I'm just thinking that scene in Something About Mary.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
where everybody just comes walking out
the
of
shit that goes on in Cherry Hill.
that's exactly what it was. And there was like a bunch of older dudes just walking the trails there, just like in a circle. You could tell they're just waiting for the one person to go, "Hey, you up for this?" And I was just like, "All right, we're not filming directly here. We're gonna stay on the main trail where everybody else is in the lights because we ain't going back there." But we actually incorporated that into what we were going to do for the story we shot, and basically made Ron be the guy out there offering services in a creepy mask and wig, and he takes care of one of the guys, and it's stupid, wild stuff that we just thought of on the spot, and we ran with it, so it was fun.
That's awesome.
And the worst part was, have you been to Monster Mania before?
All the time.
This last one was probably the first one we missed in what, 3-4 years?
4 years,
Okay.
yeah.
You didn't miss nothing. As crazy as that is, the very following weekend they had a some sort of church group in the entire hotel, prayers and everything. It was insane to see because I'm always used to seeing Monster Mania, which is a whole different vibe. And there we are walking through the lobby with girls looking slutty, bloody stuff, cameras, and we've got preachers in the elevator with us.
Oh shit!
And it was just. We were like, "Oh God, we're definitely going to hell for this one."
Awkward.
If nothing else, this is going to send us there for sure.
I'm picturing Joel Murray and Hatchet just walking around.
Yep. But we had one of the guys dress up like a preacher, fully white suit, walking around with a Bible in his hand, and it was just like, "Oh my God, we're in an elevator with two girls dressed, very, tits out, short skirts, that type of stuff," and we stop at one of the floors. We're on the 14th floor. We stop at one of the floors, and this young girl gets on with her mom, and she's just like flabbergasted. She's like, "What did we just walk into?" She wouldn't. When we got to the lobby, she like tried to get out, and she was just stuck, turned around, staring at the girls. And the mom's like, "Come on, we gotta go." And it was just like, "Oh man, we're going to hell for this for sure."
Yeah, pretty sure. That's all.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so every time you guys go to work on any project, just document everything, because it sounds like stuff like that. That's almost a movie in itself.
Yeah, that's gold right there.
Yeah,
we got bonus really features for everything.
we usually do. Somebody is usually there recording in the background to get some of the unique bloopers that happen on set, which is good. Yeah. We had one hotel room. We were shooting a Flickr episode in, and Ron has blood that he makes, and he keeps it usually in like an apple juice jar or bottle. And, sometimes you got to shake it up to get it, all mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to shake it up and he opens it right in the bathroom. A couple of us are standing in there, and it pressurized when he shook it up, and shit. Blood sprayed everywhere. We did catch that on film, which is great. But the fact that we had to clean up all this extra blood we weren't thinking about doing, and we hadn't even shot anything yet. It was just like, here we go. This is just how Black Ave Films rolls. Bloody as can be.
It's like Stephen King's It. Throw Pennywise in the scene.
Yeah, we got to start shooting some things there, guys.
Yeah.
Listen,
we'll probably get something on the books.
So
that'll be fun.
So we got the live show October 10th at 7:30 p.m. at the Everett Theater, Middletown, Delaware. So tickets are on sale now. We're going to share the link.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the tickets. And you might see some of us there. So Astral Paranormal with Mark Sarro. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
And Chris Avellino, Black Ave Films.
Ron will be there.
Black Ave.
What time does it start? What time is it start?
7:30.
And it ends?
It's going to be, it'll probably be over by like 9:30 or so.
Okay.
We're gonna do like 45 minutes, take a quick intermission, and then do another 45 minutes and call it there. So
it's a bit of a
I'm definitely interested in checking it out.
And you guys come, we'll give you if you have a portable audio recorder, I'll take you around the theater and you guys can, I'll give you a tour of the projection booth.
Oh, nice.
We still run the two 35mm film projectors we run there are they're 1938 carbon arc projectors, and we we still run 35mm film on them. The next one we're doing there is Fantasia in November. So I'll give you, if we have time, I'll give you a quick tour of the place, and you can see where all the stuff happens.
Now I have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, I was already in before you bribed us.
And we're probably going to have an after party back here at my place because we're only 10-15 minutes away. So you guys come make the trip to make it worth your while. You're welcome to come back and hang out.
Cool.
Yeah, that's an experience, and that's worth the trip in itself.
Yeah,
yeah.
Come on.
Mark is also a musician too, so you check out his studio. He's to the nines with every instrument, and it's too much to see in one visit. It really is, which is cool.
See, Mark wasn't on when I was karaokeing You're the Inspiration by Chicago earlier. Maybe we can do that there.
Oh. One of the historic things about the theater that I think is a really cool piece of interesting knowledge is that Dead Poet Society was filmed there.
Oh,
okay.
With Robin Williams. So they've got a specific seat in the auditorium that's a different color fabric for where he sat in the scene there, which is great.
Yeah, and we still have some of the props, original on-screen props, because the school that they filmed at is also in Middletown, St. Andrews. It's a school that used to be an all-male school, all-boys school. Now it's co-ed, but it's where the kids go and they live there on campus. It's a crazy experience. One of the members of the board of directors for the theater, he's a teacher there, and I was working on a pilot for a television show there, and I finally got to go on the grounds, and it's amazing. It's an amazing place. Yeah. So yeah, Dead Poet Society. That's the big thing we do on the last year was the 35th anniversary for it. So we actually had a big reception before it because, again, a lot of the locals were the extras in the movie. And so we had we have scripts, and we have things that we had that were from the movie that we show on display. And it's, when Robin Williams was still alive, he used to would autograph things and send things to us to donate to the theater that we would auction off and raffle off because he loved supporting the theater. It's a 450 seat theater, balcony, full stage. The theater does live stage plays as well. There's more live stage happening there in the movies. We only typically run movies on the first Saturday of the month. But we'll have special occasions. So Halloween night, I'm sponsoring the triple feature. So we're doing an hour of indie horror. So stuff like there's a good chance Wine and Dine may make another appearance there. And then 9:00 we're doing Poltergeist. And then at midnight, we're doing Rocky Horror Picture Show with a live cast.
Yes.
With a shadow cast.
Yes.
So
awesome. This is Halloween night?
This is Halloween night. So it's 7:30 will be an hour of indie horror stuff that I'm curating now. Then 9 p.m. is Poltergeist, and then midnight is Rocky Horror.
That would have been cool. I'll be in Florida.
So are we, as far as for the Halloween thing, are we getting the music video back, or? Because I need that recipe. You guys come.
Oh yeah,
I've got the props. I got the recipe right here. You can take a picture of it. And... Hold on.
That was great, by the way.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
That'll be. I don't know if you guys are going to Delco Horror Haven, but it'll be playing there as well.
I guess I am now.
Oh wait, yeah, there it is. Mama Rose's pound cake.
I'll take a screenshot of that when I'm editing and
the map.
That was great.
I felt like that was a sleeper the whole day. Like it was just like, all right, well, yeah, music video, and all. By the end of it, it was like, I don't care what happens the rest of the day. That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so, yeah. I wanted some Mama Rose pound cake.
We made two actual pound cakes for that, and one of them we called our stunt cake because it's the one that we're like munching on at the end. But like those, oh my gosh, like it took 2 hours to bake each one of those because they're so dense, and it's just like,
that was great.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna put that on the Halloween night because we've already run that at that theater probably 4 or 5 times, but the festival run for that is kind of winding up, so we're moving on to distribution
next phase,
Blu-ray for that because that'll probably get paired with our one of my mockumentary found footage features that is actually working through distribution right now. So
nice.
We're already in pre-production for our next parody music video. We're doing our own version of the Never-Ending Story, and it's going to be based on these German pop singers that my creative partner Tim, who's in Mama Rose's, we created for another parody video that we did a few years ago, and we're bringing these characters back, and we're going to do a German long form music video about the Never-Ending Story with my character playing Bastian, and he's going to be Atreyu, and I'm going to turn my dog into Falcor, and I'm going to be riding on his back. It's
oh jeez,
yeah,
that's great.
That's a long burn. I mean, it took us from song creation to the video, it took for Mama Roses. It took us over 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the song was the longest part because getting that right and then just finishing that up, and then it was about 3 or 4 months of pre-production for the video, and then 4 days of shooting for that.
Okay.
And I'm proud of that one. That's a lot of fun. The Smod Castle, that was the audience that seemed to really get it. Like I recorded almost the whole preview, the whole screen just for the reaction. Since my partner Tim couldn't be there, I'm like, he's got to see this because everyone just ate it up. Like I could not have expected it to hit as well as it did, because it's like when you write those jokes. I mean, we screen it where it's like crickets. I'm like, oh man, like did we just fail? Like is that?
That was great.
It was great. I loved it.
I'm glad you guys enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Like again, the whole event was great, but yeah, that was definitely the sleeper of the whole thing. It was like, all right, yeah, this is just another a stepping stone until we get to the main attraction. And after, like I said, afterwards, I didn't care what else came up. It was like humming it the whole ride home, and yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, I was. I'm thinking I may actually make pound cake and do like pieces in bags with stickers and hand them out at.
There you go. Yeah,
so, like at the end of a wedding, you get that little paper bag.
At the same time, it's like some random dude handing you a piece of cake in a bag with a sticker. Are you really going to take it and eat it? I don't know. Like
depends on how hungry you are.
Right. And again, I'm the kid that would have fell for the white van that said candy on the side. So yeah, I'd probably take the cake.
Free kittens.
Well, Mark and Chris, we appreciate your time coming on the podcast.
Thank you guys.
We had a blast.
Thanks for having us on.
Looking forward to the event at the Everett Theater. So
October 10th.
Socials you wanna pimp off?
Yeah, I mean check out our Astral Paranormal socials, YouTube, Facebook, Insta.
Okay.
We're doing a live stream right on September 20th, right?
Correct. We'll be live streaming. I probably from Facebook again. We're doing a 2-hour live stream here in Trimunga Studios, kind of like hyping up the event. And we'll probably be sneak peeking some stuff. We'll probably dig in some more of the paranormal experience stories, because between Emily and myself and some of the others, we've got a lot of stories. So we'll be probably diving into that, but saving the best bits for the main event in October.
Okay.
Well, we'll get our tickets. We'll be there.
Awesome.
All right. Well, again, appreciate you guys for showing up again, especially in such short notice. So, this is great. And now I just want to
be well, guys. Appreciate it.
Right.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Broadcast completed.
Listening to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. Be sure to come on down to excellentdayforapodcast.com, where you'll find our entire catalog. And for your convenience, every episode contains a link where you can text the nerds. Want to throw some praise? Some critique? Perhaps you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see us tackle. But while you think about that, you can also check out the connections to all of our socials, including our YouTube channel. Give all them a visit. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with everybody you know. And for those feeling a little extra generous, there's also a button where you can support the show in other ways. Every bit of support helps. Well, that's it for this episode. And remember, stay creepy and keep talking some damn haunted.